Does anybody here want to sell more houses?
Yes.
Right? Does anybody want to sell more expensive houses? Okay. Does anybody want to? Does anybody want to work more with sellers than buyers, or more buyer? Right? Is there something? Is there somebody that wants to, build their residual income, right, through that, right? So, what are all the stops? What are the reasons why that's not happening? You can come up with a lot of different reasons with it, but the ultimate reason is somebody believes more than you do, right? If you're, if you don't believe in home ownership, right? That's why I say agents that rent a house that don't actually own it, it's harder. You cost yourself whatever money you're saving by renting instead of owning, you're losing because the transference of feeling, right? It's because when you're like, well, I'm going to save up money, and when I got enough, or whenever I'm going to go buy, and I'm not judging, right? It's just a fact. If you do that, when someone gives you pushback and says, well, you know what, I think I need to wait a little while before I do that, then you go, what? You go, I got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm with you, right? And so if you wanted to sell more expensive houses, let's say, where would you want to sell houses? Like, is there a city? Is there a certain location, neighborhood that you would want to sell more houses in? Does anyone have any idea? All right. So how often do you go through houses? Chances are probably not very much, right? Think about the last few houses that you sold. Generally about price range, whatever. And one-off isn't a good idea, but right, if you start to see trends, usually it matches up with where you feel comfortable, right? That's why if someone's a renter and you put them on LCD, almost everybody that calls in is going to be a renter, right? You put someone that lives in $1 million home on LCD, within 2 days, they're like, I got like 3 luxury buyers. I can't believe it. It's just like magic, right? Law of attraction, whatever you want. But here's the takeaway, right? Fall in love with stuff, because that's all sales. Sales is a transference of feeling, right? The reason I've been able to grow a big organization is I love the company. I love what it does. I love the pain that it takes away from independent brokers. I love the pain it takes away from team leaders. I love the pain that it removes from people that are icons, that are selling 20, 30 houses and doing that for 10, 20 years and having no savings. I know the pain that it stops. I talk to someone, I'm like, there's no gray area. I'm like, this is how I feel. I'm passionate about it. They're like, yep. They might not be interested in it, but they're going to get done and they're going to go, he believes it. He believes it. So what do you believe? What do you believe? What do you love? What do you love, right? If you don't love real estate, and I know there's a lot of crap in real estate, but if you don't love it, if you don't love the idea of taking someone that statistically if someone's gonna be a renter, and the chances over the next 10 years, if they don't buy, what's their financial situation gonna be like? Right? I mean, just being raw, like, I was about 3 or 4 years old when my parents got divorced, right? And I remember them sitting us down and them trying to explain it, and I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, that just means like, I just got sent to my room. I knew that. I don't know what the deal was, but I got sent to my room, and it was something bad, and people were crying, and like my dad left. And I remember, my mom did all kinds of different stuff to try to keep us in that house, and she did, right? She kept us in that house all the way through, through growing up. And I remember a couple times she's like, hey, I think we're gonna have to, get rid of the house. She was working 3 jobs. She'd work. She'd leave. Sometimes I'd leave with her at school at like, 5:30, 6 in the morning, like early, like dark o'clock, right? And she'd drop me off at preschool place before school, all the other stuff like that before school. And she'd work all day, so then she'd go to probably a second job, and then she'd come back at night, and we got 15 minutes with her. We could sit and talk, whatever, and then my next sister's turn, and then she'd go, and she got done with that, she'd get on the phone, and she'd make sales calls, right? And she'd go through, and she did that to make sure that she could keep the house, right? And so I know the power, right? I mean, like, my life was kind of pretty screwed up, but that house was one stable things in my life. And I knew that there was always a place to come back to, right? I know the power of that versus people bouncing from apartment to apartment to apartment to having to move here for this job and for that, and having to, start over and make new friends every 18 months. And I'm not, people got to do what they got to do, but I knew the power of a house. And so when I would talk to people about having a house and having that ability to be able to build that up, and then even be able to tap into it when times are hard, to be able to, as the price went up, to be able to tap in, to be able to have some money, to have food. I knew the power of that. Right? So why did I just tell you that story? Couldn't I just tell you, couldn't I just say, I believe in homeownership? Right? Why did I tell you this story? What?
You said sales and transparency.
Yeah.
That was very passionate.
Yeah.
Story. It's not just about houses.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of the sanitized version, right? But that's, and so I would just ask you what you love, right? If you're not selling enough houses, check yourself, right? I guess, I don't see everything at all. But I see a lot of stuff, and I'm like, you guys talk about real estate? I'm bored out of my mind, right? And then sometimes you guys post about stuff, I'm like, look, that's what they love, right? If only I paid money, right? If they can only get a job doing that, So you gotta just ask yourself, right? Even if you just are just greedy about it, you're like, well, I want to be the best I can be. Fall in love with it. Fall in love with it. Right? We're going to talk about EXP over the next couple of days and stuff like that as well. And I would just challenge you, for everybody that said, yeah, I want revenue share. What do you know about the company? What do you really know? How does the Icon program work? Right? How does where's the stock at right now? How much stock do you have? How do you buy it? Do you, do you even invest? Do you take the free money when you close a deal? Right? I'll tell you what, the people that are attracting people like crazy are the ones oh my gosh, I tap into this free money and it's amazing, right? I've got 80,000 here. I got 200,000 here. I got, a couple friends that have over $1 million in just a couple years from going through doing the same things that they were already doing, right? So again, I'm not telling you what to believe or anything, but don't be unhappy with what your results are because you're lukewarm about it, right? Because you can teach yourself to love almost anything. You can, right? And I would just say in general, most brokerages, most teams are indifferent. But I've definitely come to believe that if the brokerage and if the team, if I don't make you money, we're doing this wrong. If I don't make you money, not okay, I'm starting with a $100 bill and I got to shave off 10, for Curtis so he can go to Hawaii, right? If I'm not in there at some point going, well, here's 5 deals you never would have had, never would have been in your life. This is money, just found money. Yeah, you're gonna give me 10% off the found money too, right? Or whatever. If I didn't put you in a place where, maybe you were in a meeting and Justin said something like, well, that helped me get a transaction fee that I wouldn't have thought about, right? This helped me get this. That helped me get a listing when I was just comfortable working with buyers. This helped me go from trailers, to townhomes. If I'm not making you money, we're doing it wrong, right? Either you're not connected or I'm not connected. And I would say the same thing is if your brokerage is not making you money, if you see that and you do your business in the line item and you look at that as a negative, oh my gosh, here's my cap. Right? Curtis says it's 6,000, but don't tell me, but it's actually only 4. But you won't tell me, but when you do that, you're like, oh my gosh, this costs all this money. If you see that as a line item instead of like, what are they bringing to the table? You know, the average agent inside of BXP saves $800 a month in on their medical costs. $800 for better medical care. $800. Do you know that? How would you? By plugging in, right? When you plug in and when you do the work, what happens? You fall in love, right? Mark, you love pickleball, right? How much time do you spend? I'm not calling you. How much time do you spend a month, you think, or a week on pickleball? You're fit as a fiddle.
I would say 15, 20 hours.
Okay, 15, 20 hours a month. Okay. Right? And that's awesome, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, because I think it's awesome. Finding stuff you love and being with friends, and you even generate business sometimes doing stuff like that, right? But just think about 15, 20 hours is a long time, right? If you were to cumulatively add up over the last like 90 days, how much time did you actually spend strategically learning and falling in love with the company? Or even falling in love with our team? What would happen? Right? Maybe even falling in love with those houses up in Paradise Valley. Right? Strategically. Right? Does that make sense? I mean, is this connecting at all?
Yeah.
Right? Is we can be unhappy with whatever, right? Whatever's happening, but just realize that whatever is going on in your life, you're in control. And if you're not willing to do the work to change it, you can't complain about it. Right? If you're willing to do the work about it, yeah, sure. Right? Talk about it. Talk about the hustle. Right? But if you just want to be a spectator of your own life, you give up the right to complain about it. You're not willing to fix